Peace, love, harmony, and light. Hey, my brothers and sisters, this is Chief Kalanago with another video. Once again, YouTube has restricted me from doing live feeds. It doesn't mean they're going to stop me from reaching my people. Once again, there is work to be done. Time waits for no man or no woman. Although personally, I don't believe in time, because I tend to look at things from a different perspective. However, the physical man and woman, is what's dealing with running out of time. And what I mean by that is there are certain things that we need to put in perspective before 2020, before the so-called census, before the so-called Real ID Act. There is a reason why I'm stressing all these points, because they're making an effort to pull us back into another 400 years of slavery. And my brothers and sisters, we should not fall for that trap. Once again, may I reiterate, there is no such thing as a real ID. Okay? Because for one, we don't have names. Now, I have done many videos. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, hey, you know what? You're going to have to go through all the videos and catch the little nuggets that I've been dropping. But I'm going to try to, paraphrase some of the things that I've said before and to summarize some of the things that I've said before. The reason why we don't have names is because the I am in us, the spirit, doesn't have a name. You cannot name the spirit. Okay, it has no name. So it's just the I am. The physical man and woman is not you. It is a host for the real you. I'm going to give you another example. If you have your car and your car is parked outside, the car is not going to move unless you literally get in your car and move the car. Well, some might say, well, hey, Chief, you know what? They have cars that could drive themselves nowadays. Well, that may be true, but who's controlling it? It still means that somebody is controlling it. So the point I'm trying to make is what controls the body is the I am, whether you are in it or not. But for the body to move, there has to be an I am in that body, or a spirit or a soul in that body to make it move. Hence the fact that we don't have names. So the legal system that was created to give us a name, a legal name, so to speak, what's called a first, middle, and last name, that's, again, is not real. Okay? It's not real. It's an illusion. It is not real. It only exists on paper, in the paper world. It is not flesh and blood. So you are walking around representing a fictitious entity. You're walking around claiming to be something that don't exist. It only exists in a paper world. And that's why we are being taken advantage of, because we don't know that. So don't get caught up into that Real ID Act. We as the people, we have a right to stand up, especially as Aborigines, to let them know that doesn't apply to us. Okay? I'm going to give you a quick little story. When I was doing my my family search, my lineage, my own genealogy, my family tree, noted that my grandmother had told me that I was Carib. Okay. Well, of course, hence from the Caribbean. And when I did more in-depth research, I found out that, I think my fourth and fifth grandparents, going back are from the mainland. A lot of that, so some of my bloodline came from Minnesota, Kentucky, Virginia, Alabama, California, all those places. But it was kind of crazy to me, and it kind of took me back when I called, my grandmother, which is my mother's mother. I called her because she lives in England. So I called her and I was asking her of the names of all the women in our family and their surnames. And what it was a little sad to me, but no, it wasn't sad because that was how we lived. We didn't care for names. And so she knew the name of her mother. Okay, she knew which is my great grandmother, that's my mother's mother, right? So I call my grandmother in England, which is my mother's mother, and she does know her mother's name. But here's the thing. She didn't know the real name of her grandmother because they never called her by her real name because those things didn't matter to us. So my goal is to give hope to the hopeless. For those of you who don't know, okay, how to connect to your lineage, but you know that your grandmother and aunt or cousin told you that you are the so-called Indian. And, let me just explain this to you guys. And I'm going somewhere with this. I'm making a point. So, my mother's mother, which is my grandmother, she was born in 1930, right? Now, she don't even know the date of birth of her mother, but she knew her mother's name. But her grandmother's name she don't know. So I'm assuming, and my grandmother right now, she is in her 80s. So my family, they live long. Okay. So if her mother was born in 1930, I'm assuming that her mother was born in at least the 18 something. And her mother was born damn near, in the late 1700s. So I'm going back towards the late 1700s with my lineage. And my grandmother don't know the real name of her grandmother. Again, because they didn't call her by her real name. They had a nickname for her. And it never dawned on her to ask, well, great grandma, what's your real name? The point I'm trying to make is, my brothers and sisters, is names was irrelevant to us. Okay. We didn't care about these names. A lot of time children got their names from nature through their personalities. Okay. Their characteristics, something that they feel connected with in nature or in the universe. That's how the names or titles were allocated. So for people here today to tell me, well, you have to, in order to get recognition, to be who you are or to prove who you are, you have to, go back to your bloodline and connect and prove that we ain't got to prove nothing. How come we don't ask the pale man to prove stuff in our land? How come we ain't asking these natives to prove that they are the original people? We just accept it. But every time it comes to our own people, it's always a problem. And that's what's pissing me off right now. It's what's pissing me off because a lot of times, some of us do have, we are fortunate to be able to go into the 1700s. I know people who can't even go past the 1900s. And that's real talk. They can't go past the 1900s because they don't have any records. And that was done intentionally. Paper genocide. All right. But there is hope because, like I told y'all before, we had an oral history. We don't have to prove anything on paper because of paper genocide. That's what, again, things are there to work in our favor. My brothers and sisters, it's not complicated. Let's not make it more difficult than it is. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're just going to sit back and say, well, hey, you know what? We took your shit. We're going to give it back to you. No, I do believe, I hope not, but I do believe there is going to be some type of physical altercation between us and these people. I believe it. I see it coming because when they came and took what we had. Okay. And they took it with war. They took it with the sword. Okay. They killed and murdered and raped, pillaged our ancestors. So they're not just going to give it up. These people have no heart. They have no conscience. They are fake. They are not real. I'm telling you, they don't care. All they care about is themselves. All right. And when I say these people, mind you, let us not turn this into a thing of color of the skin. I'm always going to say that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, when I say the people, I'm talking about the beast system. Babylon. That's what I'm talking about. Because you have a lot of people who look just like you and I, that's right next to them doing the dirt. However, I do believe that we Aborigines need to get everybody else out of our business, okay? And handle our business, heal ourselves, come together, bring our funds together, bring our resources together. I believe that. Because nobody's going to look out for us but us. Okay? So going back to that census, if you want to fill out the census, that's on you. If you want to, that's on you. But my thing is this: we don't have to prove anything to these people. All we have to do, once again, if we know who we are, because grandmothers say, even if we can't go back, in the early 1800s or the early 1700s or whatever, that's fine. All you need is 3 witnesses. 3 witnesses to verify what you are saying is true. And when you do your documents, you get your 3 witnesses to sign, and that's as good as gold in court, because we had a rich oral history. My brothers and sisters, it's not difficult. It's not difficult. This is our land. This is our home. Okay? As an Aborigine, we have the highest, how would I put it? We shouldn't be under the jurisdiction of any foreigners or any colonizers, or else that means they are holding us against our own free will. But since the system is voluntary, why volunteer yourself to be under them? Why volunteer yourself to be under them? Why? You don't have to do that. Okay? So I'm saying is we have to use our head. We have to be wise in our decisions and stop listening to all these people that's telling you all this crazy stuff. All right? Stop filling out their forms, the SF-181 forms and all that bullshit. Stop filling out those forms. Those forms are not for us. Those forms are for federal employees. And then you're going to put a status on there that you're white. White is a political status. Okay? As an Aborigine, we already have the status of so-called being white. We don't have to put it on paper because we are the original people. White stands for pure. Okay, you don't have to claim you are sovereign, because as an Aborigine, automatically we are the soil and the soil is us. That means we are sovereign. We don't have to broadcast that. All we have to be is the American Aborigines. My brothers and sisters, that's it. Even if you don't know what particular tribe that you came from, guess what? We have always been a community people. Where you think the term came from? It takes a village to raise a child, because that's what we did. Even when I was growing up, I couldn't walk down the street and disrespect any of my elders, because one of them would whoop my ass. And then when I say I'm going to tell my mother, and I tell my mother, guess what? My mother would whoop my ass again for disrespecting my elders. So it took a village to raise a child. And that's what I want to bring back. Okay? That's what it means to be I am my brothers and my sisters keeper. Let us stop allowing these people to divide us. Okay? With their own ideologies that create separation. Because that's their thing. That's their thing. Okay? What the Jews are, see what these Jews are doing right now in Brooklyn. They are buying all the buildings. I heard a few of them today because like I said, I'm doing a little construction here and there in between. But I always pay attention. They don't think I'm listening, but I'm listening. And I heard a conversation about how much millions of dollars they're getting for projects. And I'm talking about $50 million per project. And I heard one say, well, you know what? I got another 50 million coming in to get a few more buildings. And they bought a building, and his partner got the building next to the building that he bought. And what they're doing, they are actually paying tenants $50,000 to $100,000 to move, so they could buy the building, renovate it, and sell it to people that are in the higher income bracket. So now it puts pressure on the average man and woman, and they can't pay their bills, and now they have to get out the neighborhoods. Brooklyn is changing. Gentrification is taking place all over the damn country. But how is that these people are not Aborigines and they're getting loans? You know why? Because they own the banks. But you are so busy to run and spend your money, give it to them, and not support your own. So what I'm saying is, we are responsible for our own destruction. We are responsible for our own demise. As the Aborigines of this land, they are supposed to be paying us taxes. We are supposed to be getting free land, free homes, and be getting checks every single month, because those people are guests in our home. They are the true immigrants in our home. They are the foreigners in our home. So like I said, you don't need to, yes, if you, don't get me wrong, if you could trace your lineage, the more information you have, the better. But if you don't make it a headache. Because like I said, if your grandmother was a so-called Indian, then that makes you an Indian. If a dog has babies, let's just say 300 years ago, in 2018, it's still going to be a dog. If a cow had calves, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, today, those calves, if they're still alive, they're still cows. The point I'm trying to make is, if your grandmother was an Indian in 2018, then you are the so-called Indian. But we know the so-called Indians are the Aborigines. So we don't have to go to the extreme to knock ourselves out to prove anything to these damn pale people, man, or this system. We should stop being afraid. Stop being afraid. Death is not real. Stand up for what's right. If you're gonna die anyway. Okay, you're gonna die anyway. We are gonna die anyway. So why not die for the truth? Why not die for the truth? And stop calling yourselves black. Stop calling yourself African American. Stop calling yourself Moors. Because none of those things are us. I'm talking about the true Aborigines. Where are you? Where you at? Because we could make some significant moves as the true, owners of this land. As the allodial titles of this land. All right, we could make some significant moves. But you have a lot of people where you're listening to everybody who think they know what to do, who know what it is. Now, I'm not saying I have all the answers, but trust me, I know a lot of shit. And I got a plan. I just need the people. That's it. You don't have to trust me. Trust the information, because you could verify everything that I'm saying. Okay? Forget the physical, Chief Kalanago. I'm talking to you from the spirit right now, the soul. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. I know what to do. It is time. It is time. And we don't need an army to take down an army. All we need is a few good men and women that's going to stand up for what's right. Okay, one man can make a difference. One woman can make a difference. Imagine 10 of us. Imagine 20 of us. Imagine 30. Imagine 100. Imagine 500. Imagine 1,000. Okay, and we could change and turn this thing around. Don't let nobody fool you. We have nothing to be afraid of. They are actually more afraid of us than we should be afraid of them. Because we have all the rights to this land. We have the rights. We have the allodial rights. They don't. They don't. They are leasing our land. Okay? They cannot own it. Because they are not from here. So don't let nobody fool you. Don't let nobody make you think that you are lesser than them. No, stand up with your head high. Walk with your shoulders straight and let them know that I am an Aborigine and I'm not going anywhere. This is mine. And you're going to give me the respect that you so deserve. So whether you could trace your lineage to 1600 or not, it doesn't matter. As long as my grandmother said that's who I was, well, damn it, that's who I am. And I am that I say I am. So I implore you to start getting your affairs in order. Like I said, all I need is about 200 to 300 people. That's it. The rest will follow. We're going to come together. I'm going to make sure that everybody got their paperwork right. And then we're going to make some power moves. We're going to make some power moves. Because at the ending of the day, enough is enough. Because they're going to put our backs against a wall, and we have to fight eventually. But we have to prepare ourselves. This is about preparation. You see, opportunity is about preparation is to get yourself ready for that opportunity. Okay? And opportunity is always the best opportunity is when you're prepared for that opportunity. So I know a few things. Let's implement those things. Okay? Don't live the illusion that you're a citizen. You are not a citizen of the United States. The United States is a fictitious entity that was created on paper. Okay? Within a 10-mile radius of Washington, D.C. That's all it is. So you are not a United States citizen. On paper you are, because it's not real. That's the fake entity. But I'm talking about the real man, the real woman is an Aborigine. First, a man or a woman who identifies as an Aborigine. Like I said, I could show you how to win. It's up to you. I cannot force you to do anything. I cannot force the information on you. But all I'm asking you to do is listen to reason. Hear me. Hear me, my brothers. Hear me, my sisters. There is a way out. Or at least enough where we could make enough noise so the world could hear and see us. And that's what I'm talking about. Okay? So I just wanted to do this quick video again just to open up your mind. Let you know there's hope. Don't give up. They can't beat us. All right. They have never won a physical war against us. So they know they don't want that. We don't care about their guns and their tanks. That never defeated us before. And trust me, it's not going to defeat us now. However, they are defeating us by using their heads. That's what they're doing. They're defeating us on paper. The pen is mightier than the sword. Now let me show you how to sharpen your sword. Let me show you how to use your pen. Let us make this playing field even so we have a better chance of fighting. Because this is our home. And it's either they're going to give us the respect that we deserve or we're going to take it. I'm not playing. Like I said, I have no fear. All right? I'm not afraid of no man. I don't care what you got. I don't care what you come in with. Okay? Because I would rather die for the truth, okay, than live a life of lies. I know who I am, and I have a purpose, and my purpose is to restore the legacy of my ancestors, to give my people hope, to wake my people up. Let the world know who we are and regain our throne. This is ours. It's our birthright. Okay? So like I said, my email is in the link below. Guys, once again, the book is here. Get the book. The information is there. All right? But I need at least 200 to 300 people. 300 would be perfect. But if I get 200, that would be fine as well. Because we got some work to do. We got some significant moves to make. And while everybody else is waiting to come together and go back to their bloodline and say that this is theirs, man, we'll be making some significant moves. Okay? Because I guarantee you, where 1, 2, or 3 is gathered in the name of our ancestors, they will be in our mix. I promise you that. Okay? So let us not be afraid. Okay? Let us not be afraid. Represent who you are. Represent your ancestors. Because it's amazing. I've been talking to people in the streets, and every individual I talk to in the street, guess what? And 98% of them say that their grandmother said they was an Indian. People know. And then I ask them, well, how all of a sudden you black or you African American? And they just can't answer. All of a sudden they just dumbfounded because they're lost. But yet still, their grandmother told them they was an Indian. So my brothers and sisters, our people already know. It's just we have to make the moves and then they will come along. I guarantee you, they're just waiting. All right. So the link is below. Send me an email. Let's build. The link for the book is below. I love you guys. Chief Kalanago. Peace, love, harmony, and light.